probably one of our most confusing and most frustrating exercises. Okay, so just try to bear with me, listen to my voice, listen to what I'm telling you, and that's going to help you in this exercise, okay? Michael, go ahead and roll up to the start cones for me. And then Brent, you'll stay back there at that staging line. I'm going to try to teach from inside of the car so we can stay nice and warm here. But if I notice we are struggling to the exercise, I'll hop on out and help you out, okay? So, Michael, you can see that turning cone there in front of you. Okay, that's your turning reference for corner 1 on the left. Since you're already pointing to that turning cone, I want you to point and keep your head on your left shoulder while you look out to number 1, okay? When you're ready, Michael, go ahead and start your run. Remember, this is a nice, consistent throttle, 8 to 10 miles an hour. Try not to stop during the exercise. Now, point that car to the blue turning cone on the left. Now that you're pointed there, scan over to the right. So you're turning in just a little bit early. So point towards the 1 cone on the right. There you go. Brent, go ahead and roll up to the start cone for me. There you go. Now point to the 2 cone here, Michael. That's your straightaway. Good. Just going to use that as a turning reference. Corner 4 is next. Beautiful. Now we're going to point that car to the 3 cone. Awesome. Now scan over to the left. That's all right. Going around corner 4. Or 5, excuse me. All right, back to the staging line there, Michael. Back to the staging line, right behind that blue 92. All right, nice work there, Michael. You started to turn in a little bit later, which gave you a little bit better advantage of using more of the asphalt to get you pointed to that turning cone a little bit sooner. Brent, when you're ready, go ahead and start your run. You're scanning to the left for corner 1, waiting for the turning cone. Adding that steering nice and slow. Got that big trailer. Point the car to the turning cone on the left. Good. Scan to the right for corner 2. Wait for the car to get there. Jim, go ahead and roll up to the start cones. Now you're going to point the car to the one cone here now. That's your new turning reference for corner 3 on the left. Beautiful. Now your next turn-in reference is the 2 cone. There you go. Scan over to the right. Good. Now you're going to point her to the 3 cone. Corner 5 is next on the left. Beautiful. Nice work there, Brent. Head back to the staging line. You weren't leaving any inch out there, so that is nice. We're using every single inch that you could for those turning cones and apexes. Jim, go ahead and start your run when you're ready. Wait for that 1 cone. Look out the left for that apex of 1. Nice slow steering. Now point the car to the turning cone on the left. Wait for it. Scan out to the right. Slow down your speed. Here, Jim, just slow down a little bit. Point the car to the 1. Point the car to the 1. There you go. Go ahead and come to a stop, Jim. Okay, you've got to slow down a little bit because you're speeding up too much and then you're missing everything. Okay, so point the car to the 2 on the left. All the way left. You got to get to that 2 cone. All right, go back to the start line, Jim. That's the staging line. Go back to the start line for me. That second set of tall neon cones where you started. Okay, I want you to slow down on this run. Just keep it like 5 miles an hour because it's going to help you see that information a little bit sooner, all right? So you're scanning out left for corner 1 here. You're going to go around corner 1 first on the left. Go ahead and start your run, Jim. Nice and slow with the steering wheel. Calm that brain. Now you're going to point the car to the turning cone on the left. There you go. Scan out to the right for corner 2. Wait for the turn-in. Nice slow steering here, Tyler, to the start cones. Now you're going to point the car to the 1 board on the right, the 1 cone on the right. There you go. This will get you around corner 3 correctly on the left. Beautiful. Now you're going to point the car to the 2 cone. That's on that left-hand side. There you go. Corner 4 is next on the right. There you go. Now point that car to the 3 cone on the right-hand side. Corner 5 is next on the left. There you go, Jim. That was like a whole new driver. Head back to that station line, Jim. Nice work. See, just slowing down a little bit will help you be more precise, gentlemen. And again, the more precise we are, the faster we can be, okay? When we start to go faster, we start to lose focus of everything. Tyler, go ahead and start your run. scan out left for corner 1 here, nice and slow with your steering wheel. As you go around corner 1, scan for that turning cone on the left. Point that car to it as soon as you can. Now scan out to the right for corner 2. Anthony, to the start cones. Now coming around here, you're going to point that car to the 1 board, or the 1 cone, excuse me. There you go. This gets you around corner 3. Going around corner 3 nice and slow. Turn in a little bit smoother, a little bit slower. See how you're passing that apex and you're still turning, right? So you want to slow down a little bit more with your steering wheel and take it wider, so that way you get pointed a little bit sooner to your new turn-ins. Now point the car to the 3. There you go. Use that as your turning reference for corner 5 on the left. Nice work there, Tyler, back at that staging line. Next couple runs, I just want you to work on turning in a little bit slower. I want you to imagine you're pulling into a parking spot. Okay, if you're pulling into a parking spot, you got to come out super wide and then come in, right? Try to imagine it like that. Anthony, go ahead and start your run. Scan out to the left for corner 1. Got that big trailer behind that Corvette here, Anthony. Point that car to the turning cone on the left. Jeremy, to the start cones. Nice and slow with the steering, nice consistency. Now point the car to the 1 on the right. Beautiful. Scan out to the left now for corner 3. Beautiful. Pointer to the 2 cone. Try to take these corners a little bit wider so you get a straightaway sooner. There you go. Start to pointer to the 3 cone now. There you go. See how you had a straightaway a little bit sooner there because you turned in wider? That'll help you on the racetrack. Nice work there, Anthony. Back to that staging line for me. All right, Jeremy, go ahead and start your run. Scanning out left. Got that big trailer behind that Corvette, Jeremy. Point the car to the turn-in on the left. Scan out to the right. There you go. Now point the car to the 1 board. Michael, roll up to the start cones when you do put the car into park, please. Turn in just like a foot later. Scan for the 2 board. Now scan over to the right for the 4 cone. There you go. Now scan over for the 3 cone on the right. Beautiful. Good. The only thing I would want to change there, Jeremy, is you're making those corners a little bit tighter than they have to be because you're turning in too much initially. So what I want you to do next time is just take the corners a little bit wider, and it'll help you get a straightaway sooner into your next corner. All right, gentlemen, for this next run, we're putting a performance enhancement tool in those cars. It's just a shade, okay, a shade for your windshield. So we're going to block off your windshield for you. Okay, this is going to force you to scan ahead. This is going to force you to look out those side windows. Okay. Sorry, 1 second, gentlemen. We had a student that walked out real quick, so. All right, gentlemen, so Jeremy did go to the restroom. Okay, gentlemen, so his car is parked there in the staging line. So when you get done, Michael, when we get rolling through the end of this run, that car's not going to move, just so you know, okay? So, gentlemen, this next run we are putting a shade in your windshield. This is going to force you to look out those side windows, okay? You're going to notice when you get to the start cones, when we put that shade in, you are not going to see the blue turn-in cone for the apex of 1. You don't need it anyways, right? What we want to try to see here is the turn-in cones and the apexes are directly parallel to each other. So if you scan for that 1 cone and stare at the 1 cone, you're going to know when to turn. Okay, so keep your front bumper in line there, keep the steering wheel straight. Once your front bumper is parallel to the 1 cone, or the apexes, Okay, then you can start initiating your steering into the corners. As you're going through the current corner, you got to look for your next turning cone ahead of time because you're going to lose vision of it when you get to a straightaway. Michael, go ahead and start your run. Keep the steering wheel straight, scan out to the left for corner 1. Once your front bumper is in line with apex of 1, you can have a nice slow, wide angle around corner 1. Halfway through here, scan left for that turning cone. See it as early as you can. You're going to lose vision of it here in a second. Trust where you put the car, scan to the right for corner 2. Oh, you turned in too early there, Michael. You got to wait for those apexes to be in line with your car. See how corner 2 is right next to you? Okay, you got to point the car to the 1 board all the way to the right. There you go. Now wait for the apexes. There you go. Now start turning in. Scan out the window for the 2 cone. That's your turn in. Point to it. Trust where you put the car. Now wait for that 4 cone to be in line with your front bumper. Wait for it. Then turn. There you go. Scan out the window. Find your 3 cone. Take these corners a little bit wider, Michael. Oh, you headed towards the 1 cone. That's all right. We wanted to go around corner 5 next. That's all right. Go all the way around that corner 5, that very end apex, Michael. There you go. All right, go ahead and lower your shade for me. And then we'll put that shade in the passenger seat, and Trevor will come grab it here in a second. Head back that staging line. All right, Brent, so go ahead and start your run. Keep that steering wheel straight. Scan out left for apex of 1. Wait for it to be in line with your car. Then initiate that steering. Scan out the side window. Look for the turn-in cone. Point to it. There you go. Keep the steering wheel straight. Trust where you put the car. Wait for the 2 cone to be in line with your car. There you go. Now scan for the 1 cone now. You gotta point the car to that 1 cone. There you go. Scan out to the left. Jim, you can roll up to the start cones, put the car into park when you get there. Scan for the 2 cone, Brent. Beautiful. Scan out to the right for corner 4. Beautiful. Halfway through this corner, scan for that 3 cone. Nice. This is a really good run there, Brent. Nice work. Go ahead and lower that shade for me and head back to the staging line. All right, Jim, so just like we did on the last run, we're going to keep it nice and slow, be more precise with those turn-ins, keep it about 5 miles an hour, 5 to 7 miles an hour, okay, and just remember, you got to wait for the apexes and or the turning cones to be in line with you or the front bumper until you start initiating your steering, okay? Go ahead and start your run, Jim. Scan out to the left. Turning in nice and wide here into corner 1, scan out the side window, find the turn-in cone. Trust where you put the car, scan out to the right for corner 2. As you go around corner 2, you got to scan for that 1 cone on the right. You got to point the car to the 1. There you go. Scan out to the left for corner 3. Beautiful. Scan for that 2 cone. You got to point that car there on the left. Beautiful. Scan out to the right here, Jim.
All right. I'm going to take this pretty much as wide as you can.
Scan for that 3
Yeah,
cone
take it nice and wide. Have you ever driven with a trailer?
Yeah.
Pretend you got a trailer back there, man. That's going to be your best bet.
All right.
Basically, what you're trying to do is get pointed towards where you want to go early. The way you do that is getting your rotation done further out. So by the time you get to the apex cone, you should already be pointed straight so you can throttle through. So basically, between that line of cones and this line of cones, you want the car to be straight. That way you can get on the throttle. So you got this, bro.
Thank you.
All right, Tyler, when you're ready in drive, go ahead and start your run. Keep the steering wheel straight. Wait for the 1 cone to be in line with you. I'm going to take these corners nice and wide. As you go around corner 1, you're going to scan out left for that turn-in cone. Point that car there as early as you can. You'll lose vision of it here in a second. Beautiful. Trust where you put the car. Scan out to the right. Anthony, roll up to the start cones when you do put the car into park. There you go. Scan out to the right for the 1 cone. Beautiful. Scan out left for corner 3 now. See where you want to go. Nice patience on the steering wheel there. Scan out left for the 2-cone. Awesome. Scan for corner 4 on the right. Love to see it here, Tyler. Scan out to the right for the 3-cone. Beautiful. Scan for corner 5 on the left. Awesome. All right, head back to the staging line there, Tyler. Go ahead and lower that shade for me. We still have a little bit of a tendency to make the corner a little bit tighter than it has to be, so just turning in too much a little bit. But I'll really help you on that last run so you can see the straightaway a little bit earlier. All right, Anthony, go ahead and start your run when you're ready. Keep that steering wheel straight. Scan out left. Wait for the steering. So you started to turn when you got past the starting cones. You got to wait for that steering wheel. You got to keep it completely straight until you're in line with those turn-ins. Jeremy, go ahead and roll up to the start cones when you do put the car into park. Scan for the 1 cone on the right. And you're going to take these corners wider. So have a wider steering and wider angle going through these corners, Anthony. There you go. Scan for the 2. Good. Scan for corner 4 on the right. Nice work. Scan for that 3-cone on the left. Turn in like 2 feet later. There you go. All right, nice work there, Anthony. Head back to that station line. Go ahead and lower that shade. And then everyone else in line, Trevor will be coming up to pick up your shades from you. So if you see him trying to open up the door, just put the car into park or roll down your passenger windows. He'll grab those shades from you. All right, Jeremy, so you weren't here, you were in the restroom. I'm going to talk you through a little bit about this one, okay? So the shade is in the windshield. You are not going to be able to see the turning cone in front of you for corner 1. Okay, one thing to identify here is the turning cones and the apexes are all parallel to each other. They're all in line with each other. So you're going to know when to turn even if you look at that apex. Okay, so trust your instincts here. Be really patient with the steering wheel. And you got to be really nice. I see the cheating. You got to be nice and wide with the steering wheel, okay? So you got to be nice and wide with the angle coming into the corners. Okay, so keep the steering wheel straight until you're in line with the apex of 1 there on the left. Okay, go ahead and start your run, Jeremy. And then as you're going through corner 1, you're going to start looking out the side window for the turn-in cone on the left for corner 2. You still got to point that car there as early as you can. And then scan out to the right for corner 2 now. Since you're pointing to the turn-in cone. Scan out to the right. There you go. Wait for the steering. Try not to apply any brakes. A nice consistent throttle will make it a little bit easier through this exercise. Scan for the 1. Michael, you can pull up to the start cones. There you go. Nice. Scan out the window. Find the 2 cone. That's your new turn-in. Point the car there. Nice. Scan for your next corner. Look where you want to go.
Thank you, sir.
No problem.
Beautiful. Scan for the 3 cone. Look for corner 5. Nice work there, Jeremy. Go ahead and lower that shade for me. Head back that staging line. And then when you get back there, just roll down that passenger window. Trevor will come grab that shade from you. All right, gentlemen, this is our last run here. Okay, so I'm going to be a little bit more critiquing you a little bit more, kind of give you the small details, okay? Everybody is turning in too much or too quick, okay? And what this is doing is it's making the corner tighter than it has to be. If you do this on the track, what's going to happen is when you get to the apex or when you get to the curbing, okay, because we want you to get your front tires on the curbing where that orange cone is on the track. But if you turn in too quick or you turn in too much at that turn-in cone, you're basically going to get to that curbing before that cone. What this is going to do is it's going to make a wide exit. It's going to force you to have a wide exit. Okay, what this means is that car is going to be more pointed off track to the dirt than it is to your exit of where you want to go. This is not a good thing, especially in this cold weather. Because as soon as you get to the apex cone, we start to tell you to start to apply throttle, right? But if you're getting to that curbing early and you're acting as if where that apex is, and you're pointed off track, and you're pointed to the dirt, and you start to apply throttle, you're going off track, right? So we have to be careful with that. That's why you want to take the widest radius to get around those apexes and not the straightest line. You don't want to go apex to apex. You want to understand what's the best line that I can use to get around this corner correctly and have an earlier straightaway and a better straightaway to be faster. Try to work on that on your last run here, gentlemen. Okay, if you want to use a little bit of throttle on the straightaways, you're more than welcome to. If you choose to do so, you do need to have a very light brake before the turn-in cones. Always braking before you turn. Okay, so Michael, when you're ready, head on out. Let's start your next run. Sprint to the start cones. Good. Try to turn in just a little bit more, about halfway through the corner, so you get closer to that apex cone. There you go. Nice. That's that wide angle I was talking about. See how early you're getting pointed to that 3 cone? Oh, you headed back to the 1. That's all right. That's all right, Michael. You're all good. All right, back to that staging line, Michael. Nice work. Brent, go ahead and start your run.
Big ass trailer.
Making sure we're constantly looking out those side windows, finding our information as early as we can.
Big ass trailer. Wide. You pay for the whole track. Use the whole track.
Always looking where we want to go. Where's our next apex? Where's our next corner? Jim, to the start cones. Try to turn in a little bit slower initially. This is going to point you to that 3 cone a lot sooner. Gives you a straightaway sooner. There you go. Nice work there, Brent. Head back to that staging line. This is the type of feeling we're going to get also on the racetrack. Okay, there are going to be times when you turn in a little bit too slow. You turn in a little bit too quick. Right? We have to adjust with our steering wheel and able to get to that apex cone on time. So this is a good chance for you to kind of really feel the steering along with all of this, right? The adjustments we might have to make mid-corner on our entry or on the apex, right? And again, we'll talk you through all of this as we go out to the racetrack and before that, and after as well. Kind of all through the day. All right, Jim, when you're ready, go ahead and start your run. Making sure you're looking where you want to go, Jim. Where is your next corner? Tyler to the start cones. You're turning in way too quick initially, Jim. You got to slow down that steering at the very beginning. There you go. Nice work, Jim. Now, when we get on the racetrack, we're going to ask you to apply a little bit of brake before you turn in. This is actually going to give the front tires a little bit of grip. This is actually going to help you turn. Just like Richie was talking about earlier, you want to brake in a straight line first, okay, and then steer. The reason why is that's going to help the car turn. But if you turn and then brake, well, that rear end is really loose while we're braking. And if you already have steering, and steering is weight transfer, okay, if you've already got weight transfer to the side, and then you brake, and you brake too much, you're spinning out. So something just to keep in mind, if you see that turn-in cone, you've got to make sure you brake before those turn-in cones as we come onto the racetrack. All right, Tyler, go ahead and start your run. Anthony to the start cone. Good. I want you to add a little bit of throttle on those straightaways, Tyler. Nice run, man. That was awesome. Good work. Anthony, when you're ready, go ahead and start your run. Jeremy to the start cones. Try to take a wider angle into these corners, Anthony. You're getting a straightaway too late. There you go, much better. All right, nice work there, Anthony. Back to that staging line. Jeremy, go ahead and start your run. Nice work, Jeremy, back to that staging line. I really didn't have to tell you much. The only thing I would change, and this is very, very minimal, and this is just for this exercise, okay? It's not like we're going to come back to this exercise anyways, but you're braking a little bit too much before the turning cones to overslowing the corner. This may happen on the racetrack, gentlemen. It's going to happen at some point. We're going to brake too much, and then you overslow the corner. This is going to make you want to be on throttle mid-corner, which isn't a good idea. It actually makes the car understeer too much. Go ahead and press stop recording on those PDR screens, gentlemen.